Hey, what's going on, guys? So I put a video up a couple days ago on the Speed Puke build, which is a build that I ran a good bit in beta. I have a video up on my YouTube from beta, and it's kind of my baby. I've been working on it for a long time, and I finally got the Warzekian arm guards to drop today. So it's almost complete. I need one item to make it perfect, and that's the Shukrani's Triumph, which is the mojo that makes your spirit walk last until you come within 30 yards of an enemy or attack. That's really good in situations where you have to backtrack. Like, say you're doing bounties and you're in a dungeon and you have to backtrack a good bit because you went the wrong way, there's a dead end. Having your spirit walk like that is insane for backtracking. So I don't have that, but it's just about complete, and I know I just put a video up, but it's night and day compared to what it was a few days ago with the legendaries I've received recently. So let's go over it real quick, what's changed. As far as the build first, the build is relatively the same. I think the only difference is I'm running Pierce the Veil. So Zombie Bears for elite champions and bosses, Acid Rain for clearing trash, Rain Dance again with Zombie Bears for elite champions and bosses, Horrify Stalker for the increase in movement speed and also for the fear with the ring, which we'll go over in a minute. Jaunt, Spirit Walk, this could also be Honored Guest if you needed it to be. Soul Harvest, Vengeful Spirit for an extra AoE nuke that's off of cooldown constantly with Grave Injustice. Pierce the Veil for raw damage. We're killing so fast, we have stacks of Gruesome Feast all the time, and also we get mana back. And then Blood Ritual for more resource cost reduction. And then as far as the gear, so what's really changed since the last video is the Warzekian arm guards. Every time you destroy a wreckable object, you gain a short burst of speed. But then also I'm now running the Mana Jumas set, which gives you 30 mana per kill. With the 2-piece Zuni, that's 60 mana per kill. And then you're surrounded by a deadly poison cloud. Now this cloud I've seen tick for up to like 7 million. It could probably tick higher, but that's not really why we're running it. I mean, that's relevant on like elites and bosses and champion packs. Otherwise, we're killing so fast and moving so fast, the damage from the dot of the cloud really isn't that relevant. But the biggest thing is that we don't have to run an ability to break wreckables. Like, we can just run through a zone and break the wreckables with the aura for the Warzekian arm guards, which in the beta video I was running Mana 2, which is the Spirit Barrage rune that puts a spirit above you and he shoots out like spirit bolts and breaks wreckables and just sits above your head for like 20 seconds. And that was pretty good, but this allows me to not have to run that. Because what I ended up doing in the beta, my gear was good enough that I ran that instead of Zombie Bears, and I just used Acid Cloud on everything, even elites and champions and bosses. But Zombie Bears is so much faster on elites and champions. I think this is better overall. So that's what we're running. As far as the rest of the gear, I mean, it's relatively the same. They got the 2-piece Zuni going on. We've got the Rondal's Locket and Profane Pauldrons, which each have 6 pickup radius, puts us at 12. I'd highly recommend that for picking up stacks of Gruesome Feast. We've got the Rochelle's Ring of Larceny, which is the other big movement speed buff. 55% increased movement speed for 4 seconds after fearing an enemy. And then with the Ticklanian Visage, my Horrify lasts for 7 seconds. Now, just to kind of go over how that synergy works, each time you fear a new enemy, that proc gets refreshed. So you fear the first enemy right when you cast it, and at the very end, at the 7-second mark, you fear another enemy. It's gonna proc it, and it's gonna proc it all the way in between that. Also on every monster you run past. So I would say you have about an 80% uptime on that or so. Harrington Waistguard, opening a chest grants you increased damage. This is just kind of ridiculous. You don't have to run it, but in most places when you're doing bounties this quick, you'll be able to click something. Because it works on chests, dead bodies, weapon racks, armor racks, bookcases, pretty much anything. So I've got zombie charger damage here and here. I would like to have probably more Acid Cloud, but zombie charger is fine. We don't have any on the Mana Jumas at the moment, which is unfortunate, but what are you going to do? I'm also running the Pandemonium Loop, which has another almost 15% chance to fear, which equals more movement speed here. And then enemies slain while feared die in a bloody explosion, and then also cause other enemies around them to flee in fear. So, like, in any other build, you wouldn't want to make things you know, run away like that, but we have so much AoE, honestly, very rarely is it annoying. Like, every once in a while something will get feared away, and you're like, man, I wish that didn't happen, but I like the ring. You don't have to run this by any means, but it gives you more uptime on the ring. So let's see, what else do we got? It's pretty much about it. I mean, we're stacking poison damage, as always. We got 16 here, 19 here, 20% there. That's really about it for the gear. As far as Paragon goes, get as much movement speed as you need. Get to 25% on your sheet. I've got 11% on my boots, so I needed 14% personally, and then went max int after that. Offense was crit chance and then crit damage. Defense was all res, then life percentage. And utility was resource cost reduction and then area damage. I'm actually kind of low on crit chance, and I've thought about putting a ruby into my weapon because of it. I'm only at 45.5% chance to crit, but I still crit a ton, which you'll see here in just a minute. So I'm not too worried about it. But if you have really low crit chance, you could consider running a ruby. But I feel like I'm like right at the breaking point where I don't need to do that. And then we're at 444% chance to crit damage, which that's kind of why I don't really want to, because the crit damage is so high. I'd like to be at about 50% chance to crit. 55 would be ideal. Preferably, what I'd like to get is a Rondel's Locket with poison damage, int, crit damage, crit chance. That would be perfect for this build, and pretty much take care of that entire issue. Honestly, like, I'm probably overdoing it as far as toughness stats go. Like 1400 all resist, 4400 armor, 350k life. There are very, very few scenarios where I'm actually going to be in trouble to where I might die. Most of those are because I get myself into a situation where I like run fire chains or electrified or something. But yeah, then man, my damage is 905k unbuffed with the Pierce the Veil, and then 4100 toughness, or 4,100,000 toughness. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go kill Skeleton King. I want to show you how fast bosses die. So again, just broke a wreckable object for the Warzekians right there. Like, every once in a while you'll see me kind of go out of my way to run and break a wreckable object just to make sure I get the buff. Also, the nice thing too is you don't have to stop and cast to open doors. Like, so these doors right here, you can just run right through them, which is awesome. I love that. So wake this guy up here. Now I normally put an SOJ on for bosses. Just quick swap to it real quick. And I'll show you exactly how much just with the SOJ, and in a minute it'll be with no buffs at all. How much damage the aura from the two pieces ticking for. So a little over 2 million. 2.3 million or so. Which really is not, I mean, that's not irrelevant. It's not bad. So pretty much just cast Rain Dance and channel your bears. Like I said, in beta, my gear was a little bit better, so I did at times just run Acid Rain and Manitou, but it wouldn't have killed a boss near that fast. Zombie Bears kills much quicker. Alright, well that was easy. So again, you can just run right through the door, which is just great. Every once in a while you'll see me just still try to cast something to break a door, because I'm not quite used to it yet. I just started running this Manajuma set. And some doors, unfortunately, you still have to click. We'll go do one more bounty real quick. Go to Weeping Hollow. But, I mean, you know, the majority of Witch Doctors are kind of focused on pet builds right now, which is understandable. Pet builds are really fun. But I think, like, maybe some awesome synergies are being overlooked. I mean, this build in particular just has some, like, just really cool synergies, man. Really awesome. I'm pretty happy with where gearing is at this point. I mean, the entire build just synergizes so well. It's pretty great. And I seriously doubt that you're going to be able to farm solo bounties much faster than this as a Witch Doctor. I mean, like, you may be able to run a variant of this that's a little bit faster, but I don't know. I seriously doubt it. So, like, right there, that dude got feared a little bit, which I would prefer that not to happen. He got feared a little bit away from me, but it wasn't a huge issue. And it's like a little bit of mana issue too right there, where if you're like a little bit newer to the build, I wouldn't really recommend Pierce the Veil. Like 95% of the time, Pierce the Veil is just fine. But every once in a while, you're gonna run out of mana with it. But like most of the time when you run out of mana, it's literally for like a second maybe, and then you get a health globe or something. So like that stretch right there, that's where the Shukrani's Triumph would be amazing. There was a good, 2 to 3 seconds that I was running that there was no monsters around whatsoever. So having the Shukrani's right there would have been crazy good. We'll just spawn 2 packs here real quick. Just wreck both of them with ease. This build... Now this, I have not gone up to Torment 3 with this build yet, but I'm on the verge of being able to do Torment 2, so I would assume that with good gearing, Torment 3, speed farming, solo with this build is extremely going to be extremely viable. So, it's not like Torment 1 is going to be the only thing you can possibly ever do with this. Fortunately, there's no wreckables around right here. So again, right here, see, like I went around in the circle, this is a good showcase of why the Shukrani's Triumph would be so good. Because I would have, right now, I would have Spirit Walk still. Spirit Walk would just be up this entire time. And I could Spirit Walk all the way back up here, opposed to it lasting 3 seconds. When I get that, that'll make it much, much crazier. Missed one enemy. Oh well. Alright, so there you go, guys. That's the build. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like it. It's pretty legendary intensive. I mean, you need a lot of legendaries to make it work. You don't have to run the Mana Jumas set or the Pandemonium loop, but you really do need the Rochelle's Ring, the Warzekians, and the Ticlandian Visage. More than anything, the speed pieces, which the Ticlandian may as well be a speed piece. So the other thing that I will warn you is, if you get all the pieces to run this, you're gonna have a really hard time going back to regular farming. After you've farmed this quickly, you go back to any other builds and you feel like a sloth. So just keep that in mind before you get the pieces, because you may not want to run anything else. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. When I get the Shukrani's Triumph, I will update the video, make a new video with that, just to show how crazy that is in the build and how much better it is and more efficient it can be. But that's that, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.